There is a space in my heart where I find the truth. I find me in you, a truth beyond what you may see now. But when we are one, we bring more good about. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. I see with new eyes, allow and unfold, embrace and let go, trust the flow. There's a freedom in love when you follow your heart. Together we are stronger than we could ever be apart. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. Breathe in and out, slowly feel all that's around you, all that you feel, all that you know. Let it go. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite, yeah, when we unite, oh, we unite, yeah, yeah, when we unite, yeah, yeah. You are welcome here. Love is welcome here. Peace is welcome here. You are welcome here.
Yes, yes, yes. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, good night, good you. Welcome, welcome to the house of love, the house of truth, the house of transformation. Thank you for being here. Thank you for saying yes to life. You know, saying yes to life when you wake up. And if you didn't say yes to life when you woke up this morning, just say it now. And if you're watching this 50 years from now, if they're still doing MP4s, but by this time, I'm sure y'all just wake up. If you're like 50, 100 years from now, you're just like, you don't even have alarms anymore. You just go, wake up. Thank God for life. I say yes to life. That's your alarm. Who knows what that would be like? It could be anything. It could be whatever we imagine it to be, right? Thank you for tuning in, listening, and allowing yourself to be transformed. I am your transformational beingness artist. Welcome to another episode of Ade Presents Being You, the journey back to yourself, a place where you're being reminded to be present, to be here, and to be now. To be present, to be here, to be now. To be present, because you were pre-sent for this moment. So when you recognize that you were pre-sent for this moment, that you're not an accident, you're not just your parents getting together and then you showed up. I just showed up. No, there was a divine design, a divine plan for you to be here, to show up as you. And now that you are here, you need to claim your space. You need to claim your existence. Like, I am now. I am now, and what I do now, what I think now, how I show up now determines what my tomorrow will look like, what my future will be. I don't have to wait for them sons and daughters of God to sometimes forget that they are that. But they get so caught up in power trying to tell me how to live my life, but they're not even doing the same things that they're asking me to do. They're doing the exact opposite of what they're telling the people not to do. And then they come up trying to apologize and say, "Oh, apologize. Oh, this is a private time for us. Give us some privacy." Shut the flip up. But we don't need to pay attention to that. This is me going into that dualistic thinking. That's why I need to talk about dualistic thinking today. That's what we're talking about. Like, even in their error, they're an extension of the divine, a part of me. Can I forgive them? The part of me that lives in them, the part of me that's reflecting back to me. I wasn't trying to talk about politicians, but I never know what's going to come out this mouth once it opens. So this is the place where we remind you to be present, because you were pre-sent for this moment and you are here. Make the most of it. Show up in this now moment and give yourself permission to create. Season 4, episode 5. We're rolling along. 2022. It's now like almost like another year. All that excitement is kind of going out the window, right? Like another year. We're just like, okay, well, but what are you really doing with this moment? How are you showing up? How are you living? Is it different from how you lived before? Is it the same? Are you still carrying old thoughts that no longer serves you? Or are you allowing yourself to be transformed while you recognize you're dragging old thoughts? That's something to think about. Today is February 1st, 2022, Tuesday, February 1st, 2022. And it's Kwali's birthday today. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kwali. Happy birthday to you. God is blessing you now. 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 That's for everybody having their birthday this month. My beloved included. Rev D included. Yes. I'm learning. I'm surrounded by, I used to say I have a lot of Libras around me. Oh, here they come. The troublemakers are here. Let's bless them, because we're not going to get into that dualistic consciousness. New Jace is in the house. You can handle it. You know what, New Jace? Block them suckers. You have the power to block them, right? So yes, all of you celebrating your birthday this month, happy birthday to you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for answering the call. Today's topic is dualistic thinking. Rev D is going to be joining us real soon in about 15 minutes. And on Being You, Ade presents Being You, the journey back to yourself. It is a place where I am always, and the conversations we have is to have you ask yourself deeper question. How do you see yourself? How do you see the world? How do you see yourself in the world? And how do you see the world in you? There are many questions you can ask yourself. You can ask yourself many questions to bring you back to yourself so you can break away from the lies and the errors and the thoughts and the illusions of others. The thoughts of others about what you need to do for your life and the illusions that have been perpetuated just because sometimes some folks don't want to buck the system or afraid to stand out. Boy, if you don't stand out, you're going to blend in. And if you blend in without standing out, it might just be painful. It's okay to blend in, but you can't really blend in until you stand out. Because if you blend in without standing out, then you're not really being helpful to the cause. You're just going along to get along. But when you stand out, every cell in your body stands out to do what they do to make sure that you're healthy. You got to stand as a cell in the body of humanity. Got to make sure you as a cell is strong enough to make sure the body of humanity is healthy. So when you find yourself engaging in negative thoughts, don't judge yourself, embrace yourself. Recognize that you're experiencing what it's like to be human, and you have a choice to come back to yourself, to remember that you were pre-sent for this moment. And now that you are here, you can choose a new thought right now. Did you see what I did there? And also February is the month in America. I think in Canada as well. And I think they do celebrate Black History Month. I'm gonna find out. But anyway, I definitely know that it's celebrated in America. We can do that. Trying to type and talk doesn't work, but I can talk and do so many different things in Canada. I want to sound educated. Yeah, I guess they do. And Canada is kicking up some fuss right now. They're like, oh, heck no. Oh, hell no. Y'all ain't going to be doing that to us. So anyway, this is the month, February. And, there are many ways people say, well, the shortest month and whatever. I mean, it really don't matter. Ain't nobody can give you your history. You are your history. And it's important that it's recognized. It's important that it's on the calendar. But the contribution of Black people in America, in UK, in the diaspora, in the world, can't even fit into a whole year. In spite of the stories and the lies that they tell us, lies come from fear. Lies come from being intimidated. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the lies. Celebrate you. Celebrate Black people. Celebrate humanity. And I want to take this moment actually to celebrate someone. I want to acknowledge this man. He's a true elder. He's a visionary. He's a healer. That's right. Black 365. That's right. He's a true elder, a visionary, a compassionate grandfather, loving father. And that's grandfather and father to humanity. If you've experienced him before, you will know once I say his name, like, oh my God, yes, there's so much more. You add to it. He has planted seeds of self-affirmation, self-knowledge, and self-love. He has been planting the seeds, and those seeds have been growing inside me, inside other people who've experienced his work. He has supported countless Black people, Africans in the diaspora, in cultivating a consciousness that is rooted in African spirituality and the African culture and tradition. A consciousness that's rooted in truth, that's rooted in God. He keeps reminding people that, yes, there's religion and there's more. If you've experienced him, you will never forget. When you experience him, you never forget. If you've experienced him before, you are who you are, partly because of who he is. That Ubuntu thing, I am who I am. I am who I am because of you. Yes. His lectures, workshops, and talks will heal you. Whether you catch it on YouTube, whether you can catch it live. He's not doing a lot. He's not doing a lot of public appearances anymore. And his books will take you on an inner journey of self-realization. Most of his work is about uplifting Africans in the diaspora. And the truth of his work is for everyone. For those of you who don't know, I am talking about Dr. Naeem Akbar, who often listens to the show. Actually, not often, so almost every week. So much so now that when he doesn't listen, I'm like, oh, where is he today? And you see in the chat room when he comments, it shows up as Mind Pro. That's Dr. Naeem Akbar. I am forever grateful for him. Now, if you don't have his books, any of his book, Know Thyself, there are many. I'm going to put a website in the chat room. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do something more. Because I can. And this is my damn platform. Celebrate Dr. Naeem Akbar today. And actually, that's not what I'm trying to do. So I'm going to copy and paste that. Oops. Let me get the spelling right. Charles is in the house from North Carolina. How are you doing, my brother? You came at the perfect time, because I definitely want to tell you, check out Dr. Naeem Akbar's books. And I am going to add that there. And what happened to it? Okay, there we go. We're celebrating Dr. Naeem Akbar today. And I'm also going to post websites where you can get his books. Now, most of us, 99 point, hello there. Namaskar, my dear sister. Nice to see you. Most of us get our books from Amazon, right? It's always easy. Some of you have Prime. However, I want you to think about this. As you go and get a copy of his book, if you have a young male in your house, a young girl in your house, get a copy. Know thyself. I mean, I'm going to put some of his books out here so you can see it. I'm going to tell you about some of his books, but I want you to hear this. Bear with me. It feels so good to be able to slow this down. FD's going to be here soon, but I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna take my time. He's written many books. So when you go to a celebration, sometimes you're invited to go somewhere, right? And it could be far, it could be another state, it could be another country. But because you are celebrating the person, you want to go celebrate them. You think about the distance or what it takes, whether you're booking a ticket, ticket for a train, for the plane, or drive, or rent a car, or whatever the case may be, right? You're going to do something. So as we celebrate Black people, Blackness today, I want to invite you to go to get off the next exit away from Amazon and spend money with Black businesses. Okay. I'm going to give you 2 websites. You might know other ones that carry Dr. Akbar's book. One is Visions for Black Men. There's Know Thyself. Chains and Images of Psychological Slavery. I mean, it goes on. I don't even know. I think it's over 10. Anyway, Google it. He's written so many books. And as I said before, if you've heard him, if you read his book, you know how powerful he is. Breaking the Chains of Psychological Slavery. So the website that I want you to go to, it's africaworldpressbooks.com. Okay, I'm going to post that for those of you on Facebook and YouTube, right? I'm going to put it here as we celebrate him. This is one website, africaworldpress.com, but africaworldpressbooks.com. Let me do this. Naim's book. This is worth every time that I'm devoting to this. I'm just trying to tell you. So for those of you on Facebook, YouTube, go to Africa World Press Books to purchase one of his books. Maybe have a book club with some teenagers, with some young people, with your husband, with your boyfriend, with your best friend, and help people break free from psychological slavery. Now, there's another website that I want to give you. That's heritagebooksmusic.com. heritagebooksmusic.com. There are many more. And if you want to if you know other bookstores out there that's Black owned, feel free to put it in the chat room. There we go. I'm going to put this on the chat room, on the screen, should I say. That we have power. We are power. And if we unite, or let me say, as we unite, we realize and recognize how powerful we are. So we don't have to get caught up in questions like, how come Black businesses are, why don't they give Black business loans? It doesn't matter, because you are spending your prime dollars and taking it to people that you know can benefit. So that's kind of looks weird. Let me edit that. So go to, all right, here we go. Another website is heritagebooksmusic.com. And if you've never heard of Dr. Naim Akbar, where have you been? And I'll tell you, Google it. Naim, Naim, Akbar, Akbar. Yeah, that's all I got to say. I needed to take this time to recognize an elder, a visionary, someone who has done so much for Black people in diaspora. And we got to give the flowers while people are here. Okay? That's just the way it is. All right. What else do I want to tell you? We're talking about dualistic thinking today. What does that mean? What does that mean to you? Have you ever heard that term before? Is it new to you? Dualistic thinking. Are you talking about duality? Yep, I'm talking about that. But what does it look like in your world? I know y'all like to listen and take things in, but I was sharing with someone. Who was it? I need to check my other phone just to make sure that Rev D, if I get any message. So bear with me. It's going to take me like 30 seconds. Actually, let me go this way or else I'm going to knock stuff over. I need to get my other phone. And the good thing is I'm not dressed like the newscasters. I don't have to sit up and you're like, whoa, too much information. That's for people on actually and IG as well. But yeah, I want to make sure that Rev D is not trying to reach me. I just heard a notification. She'll be here in about, in about 4 minutes. See if I can get everything else done before then. So yeah, I was talking about, y'all like to listen and be quiet. Some of you are pretty engaging. It makes a difference. It raises the vibration of the show. It raises my vibration, raises your vibration, because you trigger me, I trigger you, and we just like, everybody benefits. So just bear that in mind. And not just my show, wherever you go. Marian, how are you doing, my dear sister? Namaskar, namaste. Nice to see you. Brother Charles. So what else I want to tell you? I want to tell you about announcements. It's not too late to sign up for Manifest Your Dream. It starts today, 7 p.m. Eastern. Go to bit.ly/yes to my dream. Yes, the number 2, my dream. Sign up. I'm excited. This is a space and a place, an offering that allows you to really access what is true about you. Your life itself is a dream. So when you hear manifest your dream, you may be thinking, well, I don't know what my dream is. Or what am I dreaming about? Well, your life is a dream. Your life is a dream. So we want to express, push out the true essence of who you are. And whatever you use, like, okay, my dream is to have a mansion. My dream is to have a spiritual center. My dream, that's just a vehicle to reveal your uniqueness. Manifest your dream is about going deeper into yourself and allowing the energy, the vibration of your life to lift you up, to carry you through it all. bit.ly/yes to my dream. Yes to the number 2, my dream. Okay, check it out. Join us tonight, and you get all the information. You see the information on the website, and then we're meeting for 28 days. And we're going to have there's a private group already. You'll be part of the private group where you get to share your wins, your challenges, your struggles, your excitements, your gratitude, places where you're stuck, things are coming up, maybe times where you didn't take any action towards the dream that you're holding or that's holding you, that's ready to birth itself as you, and you're feeling stuck. You have a community to support you. bit.ly/yes to my dream. Yes, books by Dr. Naeem Akbar will change your life. I am telling you, because I have experienced them. What else do I want to tell you? I want to tell you about libsyn.com, Libsyn, a podcast hosting site. They offer many services. I'm not going to go into that right now. Go to lib. Now, if I do what I'm supposed to do, let me do what I'm supposed to do. And then I don't have to try and think about it. You can see it on screen for those of you on Facebook and YouTube. libsyn.com. Check it out. If you find that you like the services that they're offering, because you're starting a podcast or know somebody, and you tell them about it. Tell them, don't sign up today. Today's the 1st. Wait till tomorrow. If they wait till tomorrow, they get the whole of February free, and they'll get the whole of March free. If they sign up like towards the end of February, then they get whatever's left in that month and the whole of March. All right. If you sign up on the 1st, you might get jack blank, like maybe an hour. So you've been told. Every Wednesday, every Thursday morning for me, Soul Fulfilling with Ricky Byers. Ricky Byers on YouTube and social and YouTube and Facebook. If you type in on Facebook, Ricky Byers, or on YouTube, Ricky Byers, it will take you there. Soul Fulfilling, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and 2 a.m. UK time, where we connect and recharge, re-energize, and lift ourselves up. If that, I don't even want to say if there ever was a time to lift ourselves up, this is it. But I mean, we all know it. But the thing is, sometimes we get caught up in what we see that we don't like. I told a friend yesterday, she said, what do you think about what's going on in the world? I said, it's just a global colonic. We're getting cleaned out. It is smelly, it's messy, it's challenging. There are times when we're cramping, but we just breathe through it. We have been praying for unity consciousness, maybe a world that works for everyone. We've been doing all this prayer. We've been doing our individual prayer. We've been meditating. It's like, oh, I want to be here. I want to be of service. Well, your light is shining light on the things that were getting in the way. So now you're seeing it. But other people will take what you're seeing and make it sound a certain kind of way that makes you fearful. But no, you are the powerful one. We created this. We asked for this. We prayed for it. We prayed for it. We didn't pray for it specifically. We prayed for a world that works for everyone. So now, in the process of creating that, you're going to see things that were getting in the way of that. And it's not about the other. It is about you. It is about you. It is about me. It is about us. We are the ones. And we must be, it's important for us to think about where we put in our energy. Are we focusing our energy and talking about what we don't want, what we don't like, what ain't working? why it's a problem, and we sharing things on social media. It's like, can you see this? What's the world coming to? Every time you do that, you energize the same thing that you say you don't want. And we got to start from a place of coming back to self. When you come back to self from a heart-centered place, you're coming back to oneness. On your way back to oneness, you realize, oh, I'm judgmental. Oh, I just judge those political leaders. Oh, I'm living in dualistic thinking. Oh, I'm seeing myself separate from them. And the minute you see yourself separate from something else, oh, you are creating some messy experience, and you can change that. So, Rev D's in the house. We're going to stop by. I don't know what I'm talking about. But what I want to say is, for those of you who have Your Deepest Intent by Rev D, Reverend Deborah L. Johnson, Letters from the Infinite series, go to, I feel like a pastor, go to page 253, because this is the Bible of today. And I'm not even going to go there. Transcending duality. People call me preacher and evangelist. I used to hate that. And then I went to, okay, it's all right. And then it's like, stop. And now I'm like, call me whatever. As long as I'm doing what I'm here to do, I don't care what you call me. Transcending duality. And Rev D's here. I'm going to read a little something. Some of your regulars, you know, but sometimes even though you're regulars, you forget some things like, oh, I didn't know she had a spiritual center. Well, I've been talking about it for the past 10 years. Really? Yes, really. Anyway, Reverend Deborah L. Johnson, also now known as Rev D, is a lifelong social justice activist with a passion for healing social, political, and cultural divide. She's known for her ability to bring clarity, civility, and humor to complex and emotionally charged issues. She is the founder of Inner Light Ministries. She's one of the members of the Pachamama Alliance and founding member with Michael Bernard Beckwith of Agape International Spiritual Center. She is the author of The Sacred Yes and Your Deepest Intent, which is the dualistic thinking. Today's title is coming from that's the topic. And so for those of you who have the book, page 253, Transcending Duality, you can find her. Her website is deborah.ljohnson.org. Deborah with an H, ljohnson.org. And social media, Deborah Johnson, at Reverend Deborah Johnson. Rev. You know what I mean? And so ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, psychics and skeptics, because we need the skeptics, because I'm not living in a dualistic thinking no more. The psychics, the skeptics, the physical beings, the non-physical beings, the believers and those who don't believe, all of y'all, come here and come celebrate. Ladies and gentlemen, my mentor, my friend, my midwife, Reverend Deborah L. Johnson.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing?
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
I don't know what got into me, but it don't take much.
It's all good.
I'm not gonna pretend.
It's all good. It's all good.
It's so good to see you and Rev D. This is a new year, but you've taken this whole new year to a next level. Wait, let me just look at my notes of things that I listed. Your birthday is coming up. You're closing a chapter with your spiritual center, Inner Lights Ministries. This is the anniversary of the publications of your Letters from the Infinite. You're having a new experience with your mother, who recently made her transition, and you still keep going with all the changes and the transitions, and you keep showing up with a smile, and and sometimes people are like, didn't her mother just die? Because they're looking at you like, because generally we expect people to be sad and cancel schedules. Yep, she's an Aquarius. That's why she brings it. She's an Aquarius. She drops it. And you're like, whoa, let me go think about that. And she's been thinking about it for a long time, like 50 years ago, by the time she gives it to us today. But how are you navigating this whole new experiences that you're having and keep showing up to be of service? And, just because that's the question for me. It's like, whoo. When I look at your life, I'm like, okay, I need to grow some, step up.
Well, welcome everybody. Mm-hmm. And good day to you, whatever time it is, and whenever you're tuning into this.
Right.
I say all the time that your experience isn't what happens, it's how you name what happens. It's how you name it. And we create our narrative.
Yes.
We create it. What the process of healing is about is changing your narrative.
Mm.
Okay. It's not about undoing the past. You can't unring the bell.
Mm.
If you go into therapy, you go into recovery, you go into any kind of emotional, spiritual healing, what you're doing is you're changing your perception.
Mm.
You're changing what you see and how it is that you see it.
Yes.
So, am I sad that I will never see my mother again? Of course.
Mm.
You know, there's that part of me that is grieving. But this time that I've had to spend with her, and it's been a long time.
Mm.
You know, if this is a situation where, you know, my child was suddenly killed in an auto accident last Thursday, I don't know if I'd be on this show Tuesday.
Mm.
Um, but I've been dealing with this and I've been grieving it for a long time.
Yeah.
You mentioned my birthday. Well, yeah, I personally think we have it all wrong when we celebrate people for being born on their birthday. The one that we need to celebrate is your mama.
That's right.
Okay. She's
Yeah.
the one that gave birth.
Birth. Yes.
She's the one that did all the hard work.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
and we don't even pay attention. We don't give her any credit. There's 7 billion people on the planet right now. That represents at least 6 billion years of labor
Mm. Mm.
just for us right here.
Mm.
Okay. I contend if men gave birth, we'd be giving credit to them 9 months
We'll have
in
a
the
month,
womb.
the month of men giving birth. We'll
And just
celebrate.
looking at that frail
Yeah.
body
Mm-hmm.
that had dwindled down to maybe 80 pounds,
Mm.
and standing next to my brother who
Mm.
lives there now and his daughter at the family home, to think I came out of her body.
Mm.
I mean, it's like I really got it. I came out of her body. She gifted me with her DNA.
Yes.
That the reason why I have bones and skin and teeth,
Mm.
like the Pachamama earth, you know, bearing fruit, is like it came out of her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's been this incredible gift to help her out at the anniversary of her bringing me in. Kind of a reciprocity
Mm-hmm.
of life.
Yes.
She didn't go easy. I told people it was like Jesus reeled in a marlin getting her into heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And that last week or so, whoo,
Really.
she wanted to go but didn't know how to let go.
Mm.
That's been like the issue on and on.
Mm.
And I'm saying that to say I could sing the sad sob about, oh, my mama died and she just left and whatnot. Or I can sing the song I'm singing, which is thank you, God. My mother lived to be 96.
Mm.
And I had the honor and the privilege of being by her side and witnessing all of this.
Mm.
And when you honor somebody, you take up their mantle and exemplify some of their finest values.
Mm.
Okay?
Mm.
My mama wouldn't have skipped a beat. She wouldn't have wanted people breaking down and whining and crying and not doing their spiritual work, talking about honoring her. That's like a contradiction in terms from her life.
Yes.
And what I know is that if we get off the triangle, the victim, villain, hero triangle, and stop thinking of things as being villains, like death being a villain or me being a victim, losing my mother or whatnot. And I tell people, don't even say that. Don't even say I lost my mother at such and such a time. No, your mother made her transition.
That's right.
Your mother moved on. Okay? When you put it in the context of lost, that makes you the victim. It's just a different relationship.
Yes.
And if you give up the idea that she's dead, you might even have a better relationship,
yes.
a closer relationship. Things get healed on the other side. And you can actually, when people don't have the body anymore, constraint, they can be anywhere simultaneously. And that means with you, wherever you are at that moment.
Yes.
So life is what you make it. And if you have the courage to look at all of those things that you think are lost, just like day before yesterday, when we had the closeout here at the Inner Light Center, there were all these people who flew in from across the country. Some were even trying to get in from around the world, but many of them couldn't because of the storms and COVID and all of the rest of that. And I had somebody pray us in from Denmark. She studies with us real time at like 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. And I tell everybody, COVID shattered all of my plans, but my dreams are coming true. My dreams are coming true. So it's like, yeah, we were closing this particular facility we've been in for 18 years. But my theme that I just kept telling them is welcome to the future.
Yes.
Welcome to the future.
Yes.
So they had a chance, the local community had a chance to meet all of these streamers, these people who joined us since COVID, who are fundamentally part of the ministry. They take the classes, they participate in the coffee chats and like all of these other things. So we have expanded.
Yes.
We have expanded. And this thing kept coming to me, fly, mama, fly. And we did this whole spoken word prayer thing about it. And I was telling them, it's just that the church is just like my mama, that she had to slough off the mortal coil to get the freedom to be able to spread her wings and fly. And it's the same thing with us as a ministry. There gets to be that point where the encasement of the body is too small and it's not worthy of the majesty of the spirit that's inside.
Yes.
That's what it happens with us. That's what's happening in the social political thing. It's like this casing of this body, this way that we've been, it's too small. Something greater's trying to come out.
Yes.
And we're going to have to slough some stuff off. In order for our democracy to fly. Democracy fly.
Yes.
Oh, bitch. I got my preach on.
You know.
Dial it back a couple.
No, don't you dare. Our regulars know when you come,
you're on mute. I can't hear you. You're on mute. So anyway, what?
How? You can't hear me?
I'm not hearing you.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, let me go out and come back. Hold on. Okay, what about now? Can you hear me?
No.
That's crazy. I'm not muted. All right. I'm gonna go. I don't want to go all the way out.
I'm gonna ask people in the chat. Do
Yeah,
you
those in the
hear
chat room.
Ade?
Yeah, and those of you in IG, you're quicker probably on IG. Let me know. Well, actually, no, it doesn't matter on IG because you can hear me on the phone. But those of you on Facebook, oh, okay, you hear me? Okay, they hear me.
No.
They do. Well, they hear.
Huh.
They hear
They
me.
hear
Yes.
you, but
Yeah.
I don't. Well, that's weird. Let me take
Okay.
this.
So let's. Can you hear me now? Nope. Nope. You're muted now. No, you're muted. Yeah.
Okay, can
Okay.
you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna take the plugs out then.
All right. I think the energy from Sunday, it's
You know what?
still.
No. You're right. Let me tell you something. I started off like that.
Mhm.
I told him. I said, "You don't have any printed programs and stuff today,
Mhm.
and all that." And I said, "I figured out that it's me
Mhm.
because when I get to everything, yeah. So all of the printers and everything went offline.
Mhm.
The microphones weren't working like that were on me. It was just it was just one thing after another. So let me now that I'm down, like dialed down a little bit, this may work now.
We
Sorry
need
about
someone to go. We need someone to go outside to get you a pile of grass with some soil in it, and you can put your feet in it.
yeah.
Oh gosh.
Okay. So anyway, I
Hmm.
think you wanted to read something on page 253.
Yeah. Yes. Because so Rev D, what I've started to do with the titles, the topics, I literally just say, okay, Spirit, what are we talking about? And I go get your deepest intent or your sacred
Mhm.
ears and open it, right? And that's how I came up with this title. And the thing is, I also know that, yeah, I could have the title and put it fancy on the graphic. When it's time to come together, what's going to happen is going to happen.
Yes.
So I know you know that. And I just wanted to say that out loud. And I know that maybe there might be some listeners saying, oh, dualistic thinking. I want to hear about that. We're going to get to it. And once again, if you're just joining us, if you have Your Deepest Intent by Rev D, um, volume 2 of Letters from the Infinite,
Yes.
it's page 53. And
And I'll read it for the folks.
yes.
If you tell me what you want to read, and everything that I've been saying relates to dualistic thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The bottom line is what I've been saying is that when you live in oneness and you get out of the idea of warring or things being against you or and you realize it's just life being life in you, through you, as you, it changes your narrative.
Yes.
All of this, everything's hard, and that's dualistic thinking.
Yeah.
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 So what part
So
did you want? What part did you want to
I
go over?
definitely want to read section 1.
Okay.
I'm feeling drawn section 2.
Okay.
And maybe if you're okay with it, we can jump to 4. But
Okay.
definitely, and because I want section 1, definitely section 1 and 2 really breaks down what we're talking about because it's
Okay.
so easy to. I mean, for me, my intention is that whatever we talk about, the shows that I do, that people get it in a heart level, not just an
Yes.
intellectual thing. Because the intellect is like, oh, okay, got it. But going beyond dualistic thinking will bring us back to ourselves to know
Yes.
God as a direct experience. So yeah.
Yeah. And there's some letters I call epic. They're epic in that they address a whole paradigm
Mm.
and they're long. And this is a long
Yeah.
letter.
Right.
But epic because it just completely shifts how you look at things.
Mm-hmm. At
Uh,
Rev D, I'm just thinking for just because I'm making assumptions here that everybody understands the process of how this came about, can you just talk a little bit about Letters from the Infinite, the downloads and what it's about, so they
Yeah.
get the context of the letters as you share it?
Yes. So I've got this prophetic capacity. Everybody has gifts in different shapes and ways and forms. And I will get messages from the divine that come as a letter. I mean, literally as a letter with punctuation and everything. I take the messages that I get and I record them. Then I transcribe the recordings. There are a little over 100 of these that are published in a series called Letters from the Infinite. There are 2 volumes. Volume 1 is The Sacred Yes, and Volume 2 is Your Deepest Intent. They're put out by Sounds True. What was being mentioned earlier in the program is that this is the 20-year anniversary of the original release of The Sacred Yes. And there are people who are studying with me. In fact, there's the next class is going to be coming up on, I think it's the 17th of February, on Thursdays at 4 p.m. Pacific time.
Okay.
Yes, it's living a life of yes. It's going to be for 7 weeks. And anybody that wants information about that, my social media, but if you contact me directly at info@deborah.ljohnson.org, we'll make sure that we hook you up.
Thank you.
So 1 and 2.
Notes. 1 and 2, yes.
And I'm going to say this as much as possible, my recollection of how I received it. Okay. You are indeed correct, my reverend daughter, Deborah. The concept of duality is a most critical concept to be understood. It must be understood so that you can avoid engaging in it. Without a clear understanding of what it is, you will of necessity default into this paradigm. I said of necessity because your human world is totally organized around the concept of duality. Unless you rise to a higher level of spiritual understanding, you will of necessity be governed by the laws you hold to be true. Yes, you have every right to be concerned. Your society is at a most dangerous point in history. This concept of duality is wreaking havoc all over the world. Evidence can be seen in the way in which you treat each other, the way in which you restrict each other from equal access to rights and privileges, the way in which some are valued higher than others, and the way in which some are demonized so as to absorb the blame for all of the ills that are scapegoated upon them. There are so many ways duality is manifesting itself in the world. Perhaps the most dangerous one are the global policies around AIDS and the preponderance of violence. There is a worldwide denial regarding the epidemic of AIDS that is devastating your so-called third world countries. Yes, my child, you are correct. in your observation that should this disease be as rampant in your highly industrialized countries as it is in these other ones, so much more would be done about it. The lack of awareness, care, concern, the otherness that is a part of this consciousness will, in the long run, have a devastating effect. Equally devastating is the way that duality is manifesting itself in conflict and violence. Duality creates a tremendous sense of otherness. With the otherness comes separation. You often say, my child, that the only thing that ever needs to be healed is the sense of separation. Your American society at this point in time is feeding off of separation. It is taking so much pride in its identity of itself as American that it is doing everything within its power to secure its own safety and position in the world, even at the expense of the safety of others. This type of wholesale self-indulgence is dangerous, especially when it is justified by a sense of moral and religious self-righteousness. There is perhaps nothing more dangerous than those who crusade on the basis of so-called religious imperative, religious prerogative, religious entitlement, religious imperialism, and religious proprietorship. This deep sense of otherness enables you to lose sight of the humanity of your so-called enemies and therefore denies them your embrace. You're not as likely to kill or to murder someone that you feel some kind of kinship with. Part of what allows you to justify premeditated violence upon another. This includes war, judicial proceedings, and the like, is always some sense of self-righteousness. In this self-righteousness, one feels that one has the right to impose his or her values upon everyone else. Consequently, if you do not belong to their group or share their values, you're an outsider. As an outsider, you are suspect. As an outsider, you are invincible. As an outsider, you become the target of the rage and the frustration of the self-righteous.
Can you read 3, please? 3.
Your world needs more understanding. Your world needs more compassion. Your world needs a greater sense of harmony and unity. Your world needs to move beyond this wholesale labeling of some people as good and others as evil. It is the ones who perceive themselves as good who, in fact, label the other ones as evil. However, as you well know, everyone's thinking the same thing about the other. So the ones who think that they are good are calling the other ones evil. However, the ones that they are calling evil perceive themselves as being good and consider the other one, those who think of themselves as good, to be the ones who are truly evil. This is a vicious cycle. The answer to this dilemma is not, will the real evil one please stand up, any more than it is, will the real good one please stand up? Life is not so either or. Life is an and. It is the and that you must be able to live with. What do I mean when I say this? You're so busy trying to distinguish yourselves from one another that you get into a tremendous amount of judgment and condemnation about what each other is doing. It is not your place to judge. You can't tell what's really going on in someone else's life. You can barely figure out what's going on in your own life. You must move beyond the tendency to want to draw opinions based upon limited information. No matter how much you think that you know about someone else's attitude, feelings, actions, or behavior, you still are not privy to the private going-ons in their heart, which includes their mind. Therefore, it is incumbent upon you to not get stuck in formulating and acting upon the opinions that you gather strictly upon your human observation. There's so much more than that which meets the eye. As you well know, there are at least two sides to every story, and then there's the truth. Well, we are here to talk about the truth. Then, that is evidence enough that you have. Let me say that again. We're here about the truth. If you are deeply entrenched in your own side, then that is evidence enough that you have not found the truth. I'm going to say that again.
Please.
If you are deeply entrenched in your own side, that is evidence enough that you have not found the truth.
And that's just half the story. There's more, but we'll stop there. What I love about these letters is they are so simple, so clear, so obvious. And the part about AIDS, that, it's like right now, it's self-evident. We see what's going with Corona. We shut the whole world down because it's affecting people in America, in UK, in the Western world. The whole world got shut down. Intellectual properties of how to heal it start popping up. What's the other one? Ebola, when it was happening in Africa. Oh, take our people from the country, bring them to Atlanta and heal them. But we never sent whatever healed the doctors back to other countries in Africa to help them. Yeah.
It's true. And this is the part. There's a piece of this that I want to articulate clearly. As the letters state, differences do not cause conflict. Differences have never caused conflict. It is polarization around the differences that cause the conflict. Okay? It is the polarization. The polarization is the othering. I don't care whether we're talking about global issues or whether we're talking about you in your home. The fact that you and your significant other have different tastes, like different things, have different ways of doing stuff, whatever, doing the dishes or what, that's not a conflict. Okay. It's not a conflict till you make it a conflict. It's not a conflict until you start coming with judgment about them versus you, until you other them, make them bad and you good, and you get into it says that every conflict is the friction of fiction, the friction of stuff that's not even there.
Made up. Yeah.
Okay? And if you really think about it, you have never resolved a problem. You have never healed a relationship getting rid of the differences.
So true.
Ever.
It's so true.
If it healed, it's because you dialed back the polarization. If it healed, it's because you stopped othering.
Yes.
And stopped warring and being divisive in your heart around the differences.
Yes.
See?
It's an attitudinal
well, I
shift.
just don't
isn't
understand them. And I just don't, you don't have to understand them.
it?
Just
Right.
love them.
Yes.
Just love them. Right where they are, as they are. I love the way that Martin Luther King Jr. put it. He said, you lose all moral authority with those who can feel your contempt. Just let that sink in.
Yes. Yes.
You lose all moral authority with those who can feel your contempt. So, whether you're talking about interpersonal relationships, job relationships, social, political, family, when all people feel is your judgment, what you're saying could actually be right.
Yes.
But they ain't gonna listen to it.
Right.
I can't tell you the number of times that I actually knew the other person was right. And that I actually should be doing what they're requesting. But I just didn't want to give them the satisfaction of being right. They had lost all moral authority with me.
Yeah. Yes.
To influence my change. They had lost all moral authority with me to be a guide, to be an example, to help me over. And unfortunately, we're doing that all over the place.
Yes. Every day.
Every day.
And
every
with
day.
ourselves. With ourselves. Where we're judging ourselves for things we did or didn't do or should be doing. We're constantly othering ourselves from ourselves. And sometimes that dualistic consciousness thinking shows up in the most subtle way, even in the way of being compassionate.
Mhm.
Like the poor, the underprivileged, the drug addict. And in the deepest intent, there's I think on the chapter on the road to oneness, there's a question that said something like, "Are you trying to help the poor or eradicate poverty?" I was
Yes.
like, "Whoa, oof, oof."
One of the
It's
things I do in my diversity trainings, and I would like invite people to this practice, that substitute the word the for those.
mhm, mhm,
Okay. Because as Martin Luther King Jr. said, we trade in the I thou relationship for an I it
mhm.
relationship. And when we start talking about the whatever,
Yeah,
there's a dehumanization and an objectification where they only become their condition.
yes,
Okay. The homeless, the drug addict, the incarcerated.
mhm,
If we use the word those, it at least gives them humanity
yes,
and separates that out so that, or makes a distinction. There's the humanity, and then there's what they're going through.
yes,
Okay. Those without shelter. Can you feel like the difference in that? It's like,
mhm,
wow, there are people
mhm,
who don't have shelter,
yes,
those who are incarcerated.
mhm,
Like, oh my God, there are people who are going through something.
mhm,
And it makes you think about what it is that they're going through.
yes,
And it becomes not just about them,
mhm,
but you can feel this also has something to do with me.
yes,
So just that little link, even that one little thing of don't, when you find yourself this wholesale
mhm,
the whatever, even in the social political arena,
mhm,
the radical right, the progressives, the blah, blah, blah. Don't do that. If you're in the dualistic thinking and you know that and you're reared up, that's not going to help you.
right. So
That's
true.
not going to, that's not going to help you.
Hmm. I think it's
And,
about.
and, and the thing here that is most important
Mhm.
is that your dualistic thinking hurts you.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
That's the first person that it hurts.
Mhm,
Because as long as you're in the dualistic thinking, you're still in the sense of separation.
mhm,
And as long as you're in the judgment, there's a no within you.
mhm, mhm,
Okay. You want to prosper, but you don't want them to prosper. You want to be successful, but you don't want them to be successful. So there's an energy field within you that's anti-success. Okay. That's anti-abundance.
Mm,
That's anti-love. You don't want that person that left you to hook up with a new boo.
mhm, right.
Okay. So in all your praying silently inside and hoping
Mm.
they can't catch nobody good, at least not before you do.
Mhm.
Um, there's the no. It's like the energy is feeling that don't let this happen.
Mm.
Don't let it happen. And it doesn't know it's like if you have an energy of hate, the universe doesn't know who you're hating.
Right. Yes.
That energy of hate will just come out. It'll come out everywhere. If
Yes.
you're in gratitude, you're just in gratitude.
Yes. Yeah.
So when you get into the dualistic thinking, you cut your own self off.
That's right.
You cut your own self off from the supply. You cut your own self off from the goodness. You cut it off. And
So
you don't want to do that.
right.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah, for that.
You don't want to do it. Martin Luther King Jr. said, if there's nothing any man can do to make me stoop so low as to hate him.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I start to hate, I become as low as what I'm hating.
Yes.
So you're fixating on the other people.
Mm-hmm.
And you're wanting to press them down and like keep them down or your judgment. Then you're vibrating at their frequency.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I always wanted to be the avenger and like to make it, like make the right and whatnot. And my grandmother used to always say, Deborah, to catch a crook, you got to think like a crook.
Mm-hmm. You become a crook when
Exactly.
you think like a crook.
Is that what you'd want to do? And the spirit letters say you become what you don't forgive.
Yes.
Do you want to become that?
Mm-hmm.
That's how we get into the cycles of abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Where the abused kid becomes the abuser.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I support child molestation and whatnot, but you show me a child molester, and I will show you a molested child that's now an adult.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
We cared about them when they were the child, but we don't care about them when they're the adult.
Mm-hmm.
But the same healing they needed as a child is the same healing they needed as an adult.
Exactly.
It's a cry out for help.
Yes. And if we're trying to be right, we ain't trying to hear it. It's like, I'm not like that person. I don't want nothing to do with them. And, as I listen to you, I think of the statement, the truth will set you free. This is the other part of truth that is not often amplified. It's almost about free. Well, be free so you can have abundance. Be free so you can be more loving. But there's something about truth that draws us back to ourselves, that we get to confront ourselves.
Yes. And part of that, the truth sets you free, is that the truth gets you out of the struggle. It's that there are at least two sides to every story, and then there's the truth, because the truth is inclusive.
Yes.
You say, well, what is the truth? Well, I can't tell you what the truth is, but I can tell you its earmarkings. I can tell you what it looks like. We can't define love, but we know what love looks like. We know when love is being activated, and we know when it's not. Mm-hmm. It's like truth has earmarkings. Truth is inclusive.
Yes.
That's the first thing right there.
Yes.
Truth leaves no one out. Mm-hmm. There's only one of us here. It's like we're all in it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean we are in proper relationship with one another, but we are in relationship with one another. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And truth always recognizes that and never is in denial of it.
Yes.
Truth is consistent. Mm-hmm. It doesn't flip-flop and change. It isn't this one day and this another day. Truth is apparent and self-evident.
Yes.
It can't be patented. It can't be hoarded. It can't be hidden. It can't be controlled. It's out there for anybody to be able to pick up on it, to understand it, and to get it. And truth will rearrange your story. That's why the truth sets you free, because the truth changes your narrative. The truth gets you off the triangle. And you start to see things in way that elicit compassion in you.
Yes. Yes.
You know, you take somebody like R. Kelly.
Right.
Dang.
Right. You going there.
Dang.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
And I can't help but wonder what in the world happened to him.
Yes. Yes.
How could he become this person?
Yes.
So much genius within him. So much, music, and I believe I can fly. I mean, like the anthem.
Yes. Stepping in the name of love. I mean, just this song, we just like, whew.
Yeah. And I'm bringing it up to say a couple of things. One, you ain't got to be perfect. God will use anybody. So don't come up with excuses about how you're not deserving and what you did. God will send in the name of love through the abuser.
What's that thing you always say? Truth will always be spoken.
The truth will be told, even if it takes a liar to tell it.
Everybody take a breath.
That's what they do with prosecutions.
Yes.
And them plea bargainings and stuff and all that. They just start peeling people off one by one. And the folks who were lying, they flip them. and the liars start coughing up the truth. To save their own butts.
Yes.
The liars start coughing up the truth. The truth will get told.
Yeah. Yes.
Even if I got to bribe your liars to tell me.
Yes.
And I also say that to say that everybody just take a breath, because you're going to faint when I say it. Nobody's a throwaway.
That's right. Nobody.
Now, that don't mean everybody need to be out on the streets. and you don't want to hire him as your babysitter. I'm just saying. But everybody deserves a chance to be redeemed.
Yes, everybody.
In whatever that looks like. And it may be being locked up in prison for life. I've done prisons for over 20 years. Learned my best lessons from lifers. I don't know. But all I can say is that hating people who are doing wrong is not the ultimate answer.
Yes.
Okay. And we can demonize him. But I feel the same way about that as I feel about all of these pro-lifers that are taking away abortion and reproductive choice rights. The hypocrisy of it.
Yes.
Talk about dualistic thinking. Like, if you're so concerned about all these unborn children, then why don't you take care of them?
Right.
Where's the prenatal care?
Mm.
Where's the maternity leave?
Right.
Where's the family support systems? Where's the good foster care?
Yes.
Where's the good adoption? Practices. If you want these kids here, then where are the good schools?
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't you taking care of the families?
Mm-hmm.
You're just a hypocrite
Right.
if you're judging them for their personal choices, but then you're not supporting what you say you believe in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same way. It's like, yeah, you can down the child molesters and everything else, but what are you doing then to uplift the children?
Right.
Because it says this in the Letters from the Infinite series. It says, it isn't until children are sacred in your society that the molestations will stop.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. We always try to end the problem on the supply problem. Like,
right.
take away the drugs. But why are people using them? Lock up the child molesters. But why is there the demand?
Yes.
Why is there such a demand to incarcerate Black and brown people?
Yes.
What is that about?
Yes.
Heal that. It's like, heal that. Then it'll change. When we get beyond the dualistic thinking, anytime we get into that self-righteous up here and there down here, we're off.
Yes.
We're off. And this is my own personal practice. The more self-righteous I become, the more I know I'm missing the point. The more right I think I am, the more wrong I know I am.
Yes.
It's the self-righteousness.
Yes.
Now, that doesn't mean I can't be like objectively right. Let's just say, if you're my teenager, you're 15 years old, you take the keys to my brand new car and you go joyriding in it in the middle of the night without my permission, and you drinking with your friends and you total my new car. You are wrong. Okay? There's no question that you are wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. However, if I just get stuck on, you were out there driving drunk and you stole my keys and you wrecked my car.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the truth.
Right.
That's a side. But the bigger truth asks bigger questions. Why was your kid out there drinking in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer to that probably has something to do with me.
Mm-hmm.
You feel that shift?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You were wrong when you took my car. But what was going on with you?
Yeah.
Maybe it had something to do with me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So maybe there's like a bigger truth here
Yes.
that doesn't dismiss the fact that you took the car and, punishment and consequences and all the rest of that. But if we just leave it, like the letter we just read, scapegoating you, blaming you, putting all the ills like on you.
Right.
Whether we put it all on immigrants or put it all on Black people or put it doesn't matter. The truth has room in it for everybody, and the truth is redemptive.
Yes.
The truth is restorative.
Yes.
When you hit into that, there's a way out for everyone.
Everyone. That's right. Everyone. Everyone. And until we are thinking of everyone, then we ain't thinking about everyone. And we're adding to the same thing that we say we want different. I mean, I remember there's so many things that I'm like, oh, we'll talk about that, but we don't have time. But I remember that when you were doing a workshop like 5-6 years ago for such a time as this, I think that's the first time I heard you say, instead of saying the homeless, how about people without homes? I felt that in my heart. I was like, because if you hear, oh, those people without homes, as far as I know, should catch more people's attention. Like if you say the homeless, like, oh yeah, we have it bad in our neighborhood. But people without homes, like you start to ask different questions. Who? They don't have homes? Why don't they have homes? I walk past some buildings. There's nothing in there. It's this truth. Oh, there's so many things I can say, but it's been said. I get drunk on it. And I think sometimes part of me is like, I just want people to get it. And I want to get it. And I want more. But enough has been shared today to digest. I have a friend who would tell me about the show with you. And she was like, I have to go back and listen to the show anyway. But with Rev D, I have to go back. I have to take it in chunks. She said, because Rev D would say something, and I'm trying to process what she just said and thinking about it. And she dropped something else, and I can't keep up. So she said, I have to just stop and come back, take notes, and take it in. And, it's all you can eat, but we'll pull it away from the table so we can digest.
It's funny. I know it's true. When I'm looking at my audience, you can tell. It's like people like a deer in the headlight.
Yeah.
They freeze and they're just like processing.
Right.
And then when they come out of it, they're like a panic. Like, what? The train is down the track. Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. And I can just watch that process. And every now and then it's like, whee! Like the whole audience, like all at once
wakes up. Like,
is in this. And that's when I'll be, okay, like take a breath. Like let's just all stop for a moment. Yes. I don't want to leave the whole train behind.
You're like, oh, this feels lighter. Wait.
It's the power of rewind. And if it's any constellation, I have to do the same thing. I don't know what I'm saying. I never remember it because it's just channeling. It's just downloading in the moment. And when I'm looking at my own stuff, I gotta pause. I do. I like, ooh, wait a minute. Let me just soak that in for a second.
You try and slap yourself like, get out. Let me throw my shoes at you. Oh, I'm right here.
I do. I'll be listening to myself and going,
Yes.
Truth so I have no doubt. It's just you're like, don't feel alone. Don't feel like what's wrong with me. I can't like absorb it all. No, I can't absorb it all.
You said, and it's coming out my mouth. It's like, hey, slow down. And speaking of slow down, I think it's worth saying as well, when we take in and feel this truth and the energy as it comes, like, whoo, we feel like we have to take on the world. So like, okay, now I want to think of those people. So the homeless. No. We start small wherever, however. Just even integrating just what we heard. Like, how can I be more loving with myself?
And I've got a workshop coming up It starts on March 16th on Wednesdays. The post should be up on my social media by now. If not, it'll be up like within a day or two. It's called Healing Divides. And it is exactly about this healing divides. It'll be 7 Wednesdays, the Wednesdays from March 16th through April. And that'll be at 4 p.m. Pacific time via Zoom. It's highly, highly interactive. They're learning pods so that you can be with a small group of people throughout the whole session that is facilitated. I've got colleagues from around the country that help with this. And the work is layered. So if you're new to this stuff, you can be in an introductory level or an intermediate level. If you're familiar with the concepts and you really want to get in there with it, you can be at the advanced level so that everybody can be learning and growing. They all get the same material. They hear from me, and then your assignments and your learning pod is at your own level. Highly, highly interactive. And I recommend it. It'll be from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific time, starting on Wednesdays on March the 16th, Healing Divides. You can find it in Inner Light Ministries social media or on our website. If it isn't posted right now, it will be, I promise, within a day or two.
Okay, yeah, because I'm looking on there. I'm both classes. Sign me up.
Okay.
Sign me up. Because I'm telling you,
as soon as I hop over this, I'm going to be on my staff meeting. The graphic artist was waiting for a QR code or something. And once that gets on there, boom, it'll post.
Yes. And I'll just say, if for those doing this work, make sure you power up with this kind of workshop that Rev D is doing, because just when you think you've got everything you need, you get into the workshop, someone comes up with something and whoa, I'm co-leading a workshop, a 6-month workshop, and we had something show up that all the leaders, we had to have an emergency meeting because we weren't planning for that. It's important to power up.
Yeah, and we're teaming up with different communities, so you can contact us as well if you want your organization to be a part of it. We'll give you a discount code and like an affiliate program, and your organization can get 20% of all registration fees. So it becomes a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, Rev D, I love you. I
bless you.
I appreciate you, and I thank God for you. Thank you. Thank you for the work you do in the world.
All right.
Love you. Love you.
Love you too.
All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Woo-wee. Your deepest intent. I don't have the sacred yes here right now. However, what I'm going to say is, you've heard it, integrate it, live it, breathe it, not as an obligation, but as coming from a place of intent of setting yourself free. And setting yourself free. And as you are set free, your presence automatically sets others free. Sometimes it's beyond your intellect. I'm thinking of Marianne Williamson's quote, poem, but it's not. It's part of her book, A Return to Love. As we are liberated from our own fears, our presence automatically liberates others. When you hate the evil that people are doing in the world, you become a hater. When you become a hater, you infuse the world with hate. So you become what you hate. You become what you judge. It's inner work. And it's an inner work that moves you to extending that work outside. By default, when you remember this whole thing about spirituality, oneness, where it's really about, is a journey, is a road back to oneness, a road back to yourself. So when you find yourself struggling with applying some of these principles and you're struggling, and then you encounter other people who are not doing something that you know they should be doing, you just might want to ask yourself, maybe they struggle with living the truth or doing the right thing like it's been for me. That's what compassion is. That is what compassion is. And your desire to see things differently. I love you. I bless you. I appreciate you, and I thank God for you. If you're available and you want to move beyond the aha moment and like, ooh, that was deep, and you want to deepen the deepness and integrate it, you can find me on lifecoachade.com. You won't see me there, but that's a way to contact me, lifecoachade.com. And there's still some spaces for people who want to join us for Manifest Your Dream. Starts tonight for 28 days. 7 p.m. Eastern, bit.ly/ what is it? Yes to my dream, bit.ly/ yes, the number 2, my dream. We're integrating what you're hearing here. We're applying it. We're walking it. And we're giving ourselves permission to show up. Rev D said something earlier that she was saying at the spiritual center that, she's saying we're in the future. We are in the future. Welcome to the future, because you are the future of your past. Where you are today was once an idea, was once a dream, was once something you were thinking about or weren't quite sure if you can be who you are today. This place that you're in, maybe a few months ago, you had a health challenge and you were afraid that you may die or something serious might happen. You're here. You are now the future of your past. And whatever change we're looking for, whatever healing we're looking for in the world, we are the connector. We are the incubator of healing. We are the incubator of miracles. We are the ones we've been looking for. Oh, I love you. Thank you, Kwali. Thank you, Marion. Thank you, Julie. It's nice to see you, Julie. Thank you, Ashley. Camille, HDIN.gem, Pat. Who else was in Ashley? Thank you all for being here. KS, Kimberly, thank you. New Jays, I didn't forget you. Ireta, am I saying your name right or not? If I'm not, please forgive me. Noni was in the house, or is in the house. I don't know if you're still here. But those of you who shared in the chat room, thank you all. And the silent listeners, those of you who didn't engage in the chat room, thank you. What else do I need to tell you? I think that's all. And like they say at Inner Light Ministries, I invite you to take this consciousness and multiply it. And as you multiply it, join us tomorrow, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, 2 a.m. Thursday morning for Soulful Feeling with yours truly, Enrique Byers. Thank you. I'm fed. And if you are joining us for Manifest Your Dream tonight, I'll be there, of course, 12 a.m. actually, my time, 7 p.m. Eastern. I am grateful for you, Marion. Yes, Kimberly said this was life-changing. I know what you mean. Peace and blessings, beautiful people. You can find me, register for my mailing list, lifecoachade.com, lifecoachade.com. Thank you, IG. Thank you, YouTube, Facebook, and wherever you're watching this. Thank you for saying yes to life. We're on a road to oneness, and you've got to be it. I'm out.